I've shared the story a couple of times, but you can
Yeah.
share it if you want for those. I mean, a lot of people listening right now maybe never heard that story about, us. We're, we're going after, a top 10
Yeah.
guy, number 6. I actually talked about it on Sean Ryan's show, like going after this guy. And it was just you and I out there for,
Yeah.
weeks building
Yeah,
that target.
that old guy that he came up and he told us that, hey, there are the bad guys. They're looking for some foreigners,
Yeah.
foreigners in the area. And he told me, and you're like, what's he saying? Remember every time when I was talking to a local and you were so anxious in a hurry to tell
Yeah.
you what's he saying? What's he saying? I'm like, brother, wait a minute.
Well, yeah, because I know I'm like learning Dari and I can understand, but as soon as you start talking to Pashtun,
Yeah,
I had no idea what you're saying. I'm like, I'm lost now. Like, and you can always tell when something
exactly.
serious is going on. And I'm like, this
Yeah.
seems serious. Like, what's he saying?
Yeah, as soon as he told us about that, and I explained to you, and you were so normal and so cool about it, I was actually feeling inside my heart that you would probably tell me, "Let's run away from this place. Let's get refugee underneath the bushes or hide somewhere in the forest." But I didn't see all that. You were all ready for combat, and you were all ready for the confrontation with these bad guys. And then when that first round knocked off on our head, and that was the time when we exchanged our guns. And I don't know what happened after that, because sometimes, like during these real confrontations with the bad guy, I think I didn't have the control of my body. Shooting that guy with the RPG
Yeah.
that he had on his hand and pointing at us, I had no idea.
Yeah.
Like, if right now, if you tell me to go and shoot that, I mean, like, if I know in advance what's happening to me, it is very hard. But at that time, like something unexpectedly and very quickly, it happens to you. I don't know how God moved my body, my hands, my brain. I have no idea. And even at that time, I was just remembering Kathy's voice that she told me to take care of my shorty for me. I like, what, God? If something happens to Chad, what would be my answer to Kathy?
Yeah.
Every minute in the danger zone, when I was remembering that beautiful American womanly voice,
Mm.
man, I was ready to put my life for you and take a
Yeah. It was,
bullet for you.
man, I just I'll forever be grateful for that day because, for those that don't know the whole story, what happened is, we 20 to 30 Taliban guys, and it's just Aziz and I about 100 yards away. And we execute a Australian peel or a lateral bounding technique to get off that field. And as I was firing and covering Aziz, would have been drawing the gunfire to me. An RPG came up and I didn't see it. And Aziz stopped and exposed himself, which would have been pulling gunfire from me to him,
Mhm.
and shot the guy before he fired off the RPG. And ultimately that RPG would have just a sequence of how gunfights happen, and that, especially with that technique that we use. That's the reason you use the technique to draw fire to you and cover the other person. And that RPG would have certainly came towards me and saved my life that day. Not only saved my life that day, but allowed the mission to continue. Because when we got back to the safe house, it was you that said, "Hey, we need to still stay here and finish this mission." And I think about 10 days later is when the command came in and killed number 6. And we had the authority or the say so to call it off and say, "Hey, we're compromised. Like, let's pull out, do it later." But you're the one that's like, "No, we're not compromised. That was just Taliban doing Taliban stuff in the area, and they
Yeah.
thought a foreigner was here, so we're not compromised. Let's just stay here and finish the job." And
Yeah.
we stayed. And for me, my confidence always rested on you. Like you were my
Yeah.
litmus test. Are we safe to stay here? Can we still operate? Can we still be successful with the mission? And when you said we should stay, we did. And
Yeah, like remember when I told you that Afghan slang, like when the snake is injured, you cannot leave a injured snake in your backyard. we we shot at them back. They shot at us, and that was a snake for me. They were actually injured. They were in the area, and they were going to, come back at us. So that's why I asked to stay and let's take care of this business. Let's
yeah.
finish it. Let's clean the mess.
Yeah, yeah. That was a miraculous day outside of you. I think God's providence was there because the fact that you nor I was injured or hurt or
Mhm.
not even seen a one bullet land next to us. It was just
Yeah.
a miraculous moment.
Sometimes the fear, that's where actually I learned that fear, there's always fear, but if you just save it and use it back against your enemy, it gives you power. The anger, the fear, the frustration, like sometimes we get, especially in those kind of conflicts, you just have to save it and focus on your mission,
Yeah,
and then use that energy, turn it back into your own benefit.
yeah, yeah.
And that's what we exactly we did.